I heard this comparison a while back, a few years ago, and I think it was my brother or someone like that had said, a buddy of his had said, why I don't drink nearly as much as I used to. This is him talking, my brother's buddy, something like that. I might be off on the relationships of this, but the sentiment itself is the key. So what was said to him was, why I don't drink as much as I used to. As a matter of fact, I don't drink really at all. I have a drink or two here or there, but I used to, pound the beer or the hard liquor, that kind of stuff on the weekends. And I'd grown over the years, and I found out every time I do that, and as I got older and older, whether that was in my 20s or whatever it was, I got to get a hangover, and a harder hangover, and it lasted longer. And maybe it was more than just half a day or one day. Maybe it went into the next few days, or maybe it went into a week, that kind of stuff. He's like, and I always viewed it, why would I get drunk so I would have a night of fun or party or whatever it is, and I would be stealing the next day or two or three or a week. You'd be stealing from those. I'd be stealing those from my life because I wanted to party or to get drunk or so bad that I was hungover so bad the night before. Now I've pretty much wasted. It could be up to the next week of my life, or it was a day or two, whatever. I stole from tomorrow to pay for my fun, my party time tonight. So sentiment, I was like, that's a great way to think about it. That's true, at least from my perspective. So then I got to thinking, and I was like, well, that's pretty much the same way. That speaks a great analogy of what the governments do here in America. When they print or they make more digits or they get a stimulus bill or a package, that kind of stuff, and then everyone in the world gets these checks or gets these digits, this kind of stuff, or they approve people, whatever. Don't have to go into that, but so they are, like I've said before, government has no money. They have zero. They produce nothing. So where's this coming from? Well, this is coming from them just printing more money or them just making more digits on the computer. So, in essence, this is what it is. This is what it does. It says, well, there was 100 units out there. There was $100 out there, whether it was digit form or paper form or whatever. There was $100 out there, and there was no more than that. So from there, bread costs so much, toothpaste costs so much, tennis shoes or shirts cost so much, jeans cost so much, food costs so much, gas costs so much, that kind of stuff. Well, as that amount went from $100 that everyone had access to, so they had fractions of $100 to pay for the things they need or want or desire. Now maybe there's $500 out there. So everything, they have 5 times more currency out there, or dollars or bills or whatever it is. So now there's nothing more out there. There's not 5 more times the food out there. There's not 5 more times the tennis shoes or the jeans or the products to purchase. So everything, in essence, costs 5 times more than it did. Just that's hard economics. That's just, there's no way around it. Yes, that doesn't work that way, one for one across the spectrum, as well as everything else, in line with the same time as everything else, because there's manipulation and there's other things that show, and there's other things, as far as desire or that kind of stuff, and needs and wants, and depends on the economy and depends on situations. But as a whole, as a blanket statement, that's what it is. So with that being said, they're printing all this money or making all these digits. What are they really doing? Well, if you had some money saved, that stuff that you're holding on to is becoming worth less and less and less because there's more and more out there. So everything else is costing more and more. It's taking more and more of those units to get, and you still have the same amount that you saved. But if you bought assets like land or precious metals or whatever, they don't print more of those. They can't make more of those. So as they make more and more paper or more digits, it's going to cost more and more of those digits or those papers to accumulate those assets or those needs or those life things in life, water, food, that kind of stuff, transportation, energy. Everything else takes more of those units that they are making more and more of. So you're not getting ahead. What's happening is you're getting behind. You're just not seeing it. So what they're doing is the more and more they print is they're stealing from tomorrow. They're stealing from the next decade. They're stealing from the next generation. They're stealing from the next few generations. Because as the people on top, or the people who have all the assets, their wealth grows when you make more and more of this currency. And the people who are just live on currency, their wealth dwindles because they don't have any assets. And they don't have anything real that holds value to it like the people do. I'm trying not to make this too confusing. I'm trying to really make this simplistic. So it's jeepers. It's like when you are working and you're working to get these digits or these dollars or whatever to live your life, to pay for your mortgage, pay for your rent, pay for your car payment or your truck payment, to pay for your doctor bills, to pay for your food, to pay for whatever you need or want through life. That's taking away your life. That's your blood, sweat, and tears. That's your labor. That's everything you have in life. The nutrition you're taking in, the water you're drinking, all the stuff you're putting in your body, it uses that up throughout a workday, throughout a long, weekend that you might be working, that you might be doing this. You are using your blood, sweat, and tears, and a portion of your life you are using to accumulate this currency to get the items you need for survival. That's what it is. So that's, in essence, that's your whole life, is your labor. Your labor. It takes everything for your labor. And you can't get any more labor back. You just can't. But the people at the top, the people at the control, at the levers, they don't spend any of their labor on anything but stealing and manipulation to get more and more of things that are production, or the production of your labor, things that you've spent your labor on. They just go in there and just take and take and take, little by little, so you don't notice as much. Just on a crude note, think of taxes. Taxes, what is taxes? Well, taxes goes to the government, the elites, the politicians, whatever you want to call it. Taxes go there because they steal it from everyone. And on that note of taxes, the income tax was established because of World War I, temporarily established. There was no tax like that before. There was only tax on, just exchange between countries, some sort of tariff, some sort of exchange stuff. It was a tax like that kind of stuff for commerce. That was it. It was on the whole thing of the trade, the commerce. That was it. There's no direct tax on a person, because what is a direct tax on a person? Well, you're taxing my life, because I need to spend my labor, my life, to accumulate the things that I need to continue to live, my family to live. But you're taxing that. You're saying I'm getting the benefit for these checks, for these dollars, for these digits. You're saying I'm getting a benefit, and because of that, you're getting a portion of it because you're stealing maybe 10%, maybe 20%, maybe 30%, maybe 50%. You're stealing that from me because I worked. I used my life force to get this money or these digits, to get this stuff so I can continue to live and I can continue to thrive and help my family and whatever it may be, or even entertain myself. But I used my life force for that. And now you're taxing me because I used some of my life force to get this. So you're stealing some of my life away. So just on a broad note, it's like, think of this. If taking 100% of one's labor, taking 100% of one's labor, one's life force, taking 100% of that is considered slavery. If you're taking 100% of this person's labor, this life force, is considered, they're enslaved. They may be my slave if I take that all from them. Or they may be their slave if they take all that from them. That's slavery, 100% of their labor. Their life force is taken from them, and they don't have a choice. That's called slavery. At what percentage is it no longer considered slavery? At what percentage is it no longer considered slavery? That's a simple question. Someone, please answer that to me. Because it doesn't make sense whatsoever. And then people will come out, well, because the Bible says tithe and this and that, and I've been involved in this so much. It does say that to a portion, and it only really stated that so they could build the church. Back in the Old Testament, back in the old days, we're talking, that's the only time they put 10% on there. And that wasn't even recognized as just 10% wages, income. That was never in there. 10%. Well, what is 10%? Well, my life force, my labor, it costs me 10%, where they take 10% of my life force and my labor, because that's where they're taxing me. We'll say or 20% or 30%, doesn't matter, it's just 10%. They're taking 10% of my life force or my labor, because that's what they're taxing. So they're taking it directly from my life. 10% of that for whatever they want, whatever they feel is needed. It's more important for them than it is for my life, because they're taking that. All right? So if we just start there, and then you read some more, and you read into it, and you think about it, and it's like, well, no. 10%, my opinion, and talking to other people, means that 10% of what you are able to give, whether that is your time, whether that's your charity, whether that is the products of something you produced. It's all the same. When did digits or dollars become a thing? If, and I'm just saying if you want to go along with that, we'll just leave that. But then there's a whole argument about King James changed stuff, took some stuff out, and took out the stuff where it was not beneficial for government or kingmanship or kings, that kind of stuff. And then when you read into that some more, then it's like, well, no, that was supposed to be a temporary thing. Temporary, there's that word again. And then after that, it's not really in the scriptures. It was not really in the New Testament on that, to point directly like that. It doesn't really exist beyond this little portion that they always point to, which they can never defend if they get questioned on it, really. So why did I get there? Well, because people go there. All right, well, that's what I was like, well, if you want to go there, we're going to play in that spectrum. That's why I'm talking about this. But with that aside, if you don't even want to talk about that, with that aside, why does the government get to take your life force, your labor from you? It doesn't matter the percentage. At what percentage is that no longer considered slavery? I need someone to answer that to me. Because let's go back to it. If 100% of one's labor or life force is taken from them, that's slavery. That's look it up. That's slavery. I mean, I don't know anyone who would disagree with that. At what percentage is it not slavery? I need that answered for me. It does on a certain level. I would just like to show this to end this video. This right here. This is a maple leaf. All right. I don't know. Let me try to get that. It's a Canadian silver maple leaf. All right. It's 1 ounce, 1 troy ounce silver. That's what this is. All right. This here, I was buying American Eagles and this kind of stuff. 2005, 2006. I didn't buy it. I wasn't that versed in it. I didn't know that much about it, but I thought I should at least, dip my toes or step in a little bit and read and learn. That's what I've been doing the last 17 years now, is reading and learning this stuff. And it's just opened up so much more. But think about this. These, I could get 2 of these for $20. Okay, back when I started, 2 of these would cost me this. Whichever way, upside down, backside, whatever. One of these, I could get 2 of these for. And that was pretty much the spectrum. I could get 2 Eagles. If Word, I could get 2 of these, and I have a little change, whatever. Now, one of these, right here, same thing, that same deal. It's going to be hard pressed. You're going to be hard pressed today to find it because it's over $24 an ounce. That's just the melt price. To find it for under this, for even for this amount, this is $30. That's that $20 bill right here that I had, and 10 more dollars. There's 5 ones and a 5. This is $30. It's going to be extremely difficult to get that. American Eagle or that Maple Leaf for $30. And when I started this, I was buying 2 of them for under $20. Why am I saying this? Well, because the reason that is because it kept printing more and more digits or dollar bills or whatever over the last 17 years. So that ounce of silver costs that much more to get because silver didn't go up in price. The dollars went down in value, so it takes more and more dollars to accumulate that same ounce of silver or gold or land or whatever it is. And the reason is because of the printing, because of the digitization, because of the more digits. So if you're holding that paper or those digits, it's melting away like an ice cube on a hot summer day. I've said that over and over and over. But you're holding on to real assets, that's not happening. So you're staying out of the system, away from the system. And that's how you're prevented, your life force from being stolen, your labor being stolen from you. Because you're owning real things. Because they can't just print those things. If they're just making the digits or just printing the dollars, your life force, your labor, they're taking more and more of it from you. Whether you call it a tax, inflation, it doesn't matter what it's called. That's what they're doing. I'm just saying this, I want people to be aware because I've talked about the whole Klaus Schwab and owning nothing and being happy, and everyone's renting stuff and everyone's leasing things and no one owns anything. Well, it's going to get to a point, and I think we're close, where people don't own a single thing. And then they can't control anything in their lives and have no say. They always have to ask for permission, get permission, ask to be able to use things, pay to be able to use things that they're renting or leasing because they own nothing. And that's a real issue. And if you own nothing, and you're living your whole life like that, and you have children, and they're coming up, and they own nothing, you have nothing to give to them, to leave to them, to help them along, it's just a recipe for disaster. That's really all I have to say. If you like this, you enjoyed this, like, share, subscribe, whatever. If you're watching on YouTube or BitChute or Odyssey, I know I don't have many people watch me on YouTube at all, which is fine. That's one of the last places I post on. I'm more of I communicate better with people on Odyssey or BitChute or those other forums because it seems like that's where the people are that really care, and they're not the people who are just around for entertainment and be entertained. And why don't you tell me what I need to know so I don't have to look for it myself? But anyways, I appreciate watching this. Thanks for watching. And as always, stay vigilant, protect yourself, protect your family, protect your health.